our next block is Ohio Star, which is this one here. So as you can see, there's some half square triangles, but in actual fact, they're quarter square triangles, so it's a little bit different, and I'll show you how to do those. So I've drawn a line with this trusty little Pauline Rogers precision tool, the guide, the half square triangle guide on the both of the B1s, and once again I've put stickers on them so I don't get confused. So on the B1s, you need to put together with these two, basically one B1 with B2 and one B1 with B3. So we'll pin those together so you don't need to keep everything steady. Take it over to your machine. So we've got that one together, and we'll get this one together too, and I'll show you how I'm going to make a quarter square triangle. Pin them together so they don't slip and slide around. Sew them down the little white lines. Now we're going to cut both of those two combinations down the middle. Not big enough ruler, I need a bigger ruler. Do the same as what you would do with a half square triangle. Cut it from corner to corner, on both of them. Then you iron them out. So iron them both to the purple, which is the B1. You iron those there together. The back seam to B1, which is the purple. This is so they slot all together well. So you've got two combinations. Right, now, what they tell you to do is you add one of these together each. So what I want to do is I want to get that opposite. So the purple, if you open it up, you can see that's how, basically we want to sew it this way, but that's how that is there, like that. So that's a quarter square triangle. So what we want to do is on the back of this, on the back of one of them, sorry, use your precision tool again, your Pauline Rogers precision tool, and carefully draw that line across there. Pin it in position. Make sure that you've got those seams matching up beautifully. So my suggestion would be try and get the feel of it with your fingers, and we want to try and make that match up there, that little seam match up there. So using your pin through the seam, and hopefully, yes, that's pretty close. I'll bring it over just a bit. And then do it on the other side so that you're going to get a really lovely finish. No, that needs to come across a little bit. That's better. I'm just going to put another pin in there to keep it steady. And one in here. So then you sew down your two white lines again. Right. Take all your pins out, and then you're going to cut down the middle of those two lines from corner to corner. A little bit in the middle didn't get there. For some reason that doesn't want to go through. Right. Now, if you've ironed it out, you'll get the beautiful quarter square triangles with perfect points because you've made the effort to line up everything. There you go. So you've got 2 of those. So we've got to make 4 of those, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've made 2. I'll come back to you when I've done the other 2. So we've ended up with 4 of these little units, which we call unit 3 now they're all together. So what you need to do is go back and trim them back to 4.5-inch squares. Doing the same thing once again, putting your 45-degree angle through that on that seam line and cut off pretty much everything. With these ones, it doesn't look like there's a great deal to cut off. Just a little bit, maybe mainly those dog ears. So you've got a lovely little unit 3 like that. So I've laid them all out, all of the little blocks out together to form the pattern as per my instruction sheet. And what I need to do now is add the 3 lines together. So when you're adding them together, pin them well so that you don't have any mistakes. And then I'll put these 2 together. And then add this one onto the side, pinning it. So that's your first line. So add your next 2 lines together and I'll come back to you. Now I have the 3 lines together, as you can see. So I want to iron the seams so they interlock on the back of the work. So line 1 and 3, we'll turn it all over so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm going to iron them to the left. And the middle one, number 2, I'll iron to the right. So take this over here and iron these to the left. Just so you get those nice interlocking seams. Right, no, that's the wrong way around. And this has got to go to the left. And this one, I want the seams ironed to the right. Iron it on the front, nice and flat. So left, left, right. So now I'm just going to turn it all back over again. And I need to add those 3 lines together. So 1 to 2, you need to get that interlocking seam there. Once again, you have to use your pins, go through the actual seam to see if it comes out the other side, and you'll get a nice matching corner. Get those 2 done first and then pin the other side of it. Right. Perfect. Put a few more pins in there. then over to the sewing machine to sew that all together. Just make sure that your back seams, if they're facing to go underneath the sewing machine, that they don't get caught up. So you just lift up your machine, tuck it in there. Slowly go over the seam, pull out your pin. You can hear there's quite a bit of bulk in there. Come up to the next one. I'm just going to push that seam in under from the back. It's a little bit fiddly. Right. That's your first 2 rows. Then you want to add this row to the bottom. Same again, go through and line up those seams, make sure that they're coming through at the right spot so we get a nice corner. Right, yep, that's good. And sew that through. Careful of that bulk again. So that's all sewn together. Take it across to your ironing board and give it a good press. Do the back first. I'm just going to iron those seams to the outside. They seem to be sitting well that way. Turn it over, give it a good press. So now I've put together the backing, the wadding and the front block, and I've quilted it all, but I just want to show you where I put the quilting lines. So the lines, these lines here, I just put a ½ inch either side of it with my chalk pencil. So I drew a ½ inch line either side of it, of those particular, that particular seam line. And then I just worked out, so worked in and out, so on an inch. So the inch, if you put the inch on that particular ½ inch line that I drew there, it'll form a nice little diamond in the centre of that square, the centre square. So do the ½ inch off that seam line and then put your inch line on there and you're getting that nice diamond there. So ½ inch on that one and the inch on that line and you get the rest of the diamond. So then to work out, you put another ½ inch on the outside of that seam line and then just put the inch line on that drawn line and work out in inch increments. So you do that for all your sides. And then I quilted that centre diamond first because that stabilises everything, and then just work out. So I went across there, across there, across there and across there, just to stabilise it as you go out. And then once you've finished it all, give it a good press. Snip off any of those little monopoly squiggly bits that are coming out the top. And that's your finished Ohio star.